best endgame players out there, I should mention Artemiev.
Okay. Look, can't wait to see how this game develops, and let's carry on our...
Kind of around the 2700 mark in the last 5 years, but yet to really break into the elite. Could this be his big breakthrough tournament? You mentioned not too many moves here, Jumanka. Let's just recap. We did see, as opposed to the Italian, this time it's the Spanish opening, the Roy Lopez, with putting some pressure on this knight. And bishop c5, this is so trendy these days, in every position, just putting a bishop on c5. Back when I was playing more actively, bishop e7, everyone would play knight takes e4, the open Spanish, also trending, but bishop c5. I'm not sure the exact terminology of this. It's not quite the archangel when you haven't put a pawn on b5 yet.
They tend to do it.
They tend to do it. They, at some point, for example, c3 would likely be met by pawn to b5, and white would have a choice then of dropping the bishop back to two different squares.
And one of the most tempting things that white can do in this position, so say for instance the bishop steps back, and something castle, right?
Yeah, depending on what white does, if bishop c2, there's also moves like d5, and things really get heated in the centre. White can ignore this by playing a4, and there's a bunch of opening theory here. But yeah, bishop b3, let's say black, I think black maybe
black
d6.
is d6. So yeah, no, I'm trying to get it from the pure archangel. Okay, it's when the white goes knight takes e5. This is actually a really bad move.
Yeah.
So
I mean, for example here, knight takes e5 is playable after the knight recaptures pawn to d4. And I'm not sure exactly what...
Bishop back, right?
Bishop back to d6. I think then the capture
happens.
happens.
How does it work?
I think maybe just b5. And if white
and then
drops
bishop
back,
takes pawn. This is the big idea. And then black is absolutely fine. And then you've got this c5, c4 business. But it's very, very tempting to actually take that pawn, but it's not correct.
Yeah, not correct. It's playable, but definitely not regarded as one of white's best options. I think we will see either d3 or c3 here. Knowing Artemiev, he likes to dodge main lines, he likes to dodge any forcing play early on, and kind of push the real tension to the middle game and endgame.
chances. Okay, king moves to g4.
Yeah, actually, I think we'll see a handshake at any moment. The fact that the players didn't pause around the move 60 mark where they got extra time means they've both consigned themselves to the fact that this is going to end peacefully. Another dramatic game. Firouzja seems to be embroiled in all these fascinating fights.
But he was on the ropes, right? The endgame. You know, it got crazy with Artemiev having pass pawn on c6 at one point, but Artemiev moving the king, and now it's the moment for Firouzja. Rook takes g3 is the drawing mechanism.
Yeah, you still have to calculate here. I should mention rook takes g3 does allow a knight check. You have to be slightly careful where you go.
You can take the knight.
Yeah, exactly. I was going to say there's only one move there. I was going to say you just can't take this pawn. Because I was going to make a joke because earlier we saw bishop and knight versus king. For the second time in this tournament, we could see it again. So rook takes knight. Yeah, as you point out, I'm not sure if it's the only drawing move, but it's by far the most efficient. I think we might actually see this play out though. He does indeed actually just take the rook.
And
see a handshake.
He gives a smile, and there is no way that knight can come and defend the lone pawn on h4, and king takes pawn, and that is it. It will be a green draw, and another fighting draw for Alireza Firouzja. But what a game it was.
What a game it was. I'm surprised White didn't put the king on h1 and just move the knight around forever. Just continue the game. No, this one is going to be a draw at any moment. They're both a bit too proud to be the first to offer.
Well, you know, if this was an online game, and
if this was an online game with no increment, White would have put the king on h1, left the black pawn alive,
yes,
and then you just move the knight around forever. But there we go, finally a handshake and a fair result after a tough fight.
Yeah, a huge fight between these two, full of fireworks. And well, that means that there are 3 people still remaining on 3.5 points. And let's go and take a look at how things are developing in the Wojciech